virtual people? Welcome to episode 82 of VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2022. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, he's fast approaching VCR veteran status. Coming to you all the way from the West Coast, film editor Derek Lufkin is back on the show.
Rick!
What's up?
Also making a VCR return, known to New Jerseyans for his work with Honey Red and Crash Romeo, the latter of which his new single, Villain, can be heard in the film Terrifier 2 now. Steve Anderson is on the show.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for having me. Hi.
Congrats on making that movie making audiences puke. You have a part of history.
I know, right? I haven't seen it yet either. I should probably watch it.
My goodness.
We'll have a Terrifier marathon at some point. A Terrathon,
Sure.
if you will.
A Terrathon.
But we are here today to celebrate something very important, and that's Billy Blank's shooting linebackers. We're here to show off our $650 leather pants and to get beat up by the inventors of Scrabble. That's right, folks. This world needs the last Boy Scout 2, Scout's Honor, and we're here to give it to you.
Ooh.
But faster than we can say, fuck you, Sarah, we need to talk about how the last Boy Scout came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that includes everyone watching the live chat as well. Was this movie love at first Laserdisc, Vital VHS? Hit us up in the chat and let us know how Last Boy Scout came into your lives. So, Steve, tell us about the first time you watched this 1991 masterpiece of a film.
No, I think.
Oh, stop! Before we even begin, stop calling it. Stop calling it all of these great names. Just stop, Chris.
This film is Shane Black perfection, and we're gonna get heated, I'm sure, talking about it tonight. But
Nonsense. The Predator's greater
Dialogue
name
is magical.
Oh, yeah.
No, a unicorn farting in the forest is magical. This movie is a wet turd delivered on. All right. Sorry, Steven. I apologize.
No.
You need to come up with new kinds of turds because you call too many movies wet turds. I've never heard you once call a movie a dry turd.
It paints a picture, you know. I want to say, I think in the early 90s or whatever, I went through this phase of where I would just find an actor and like hone in on him and be like, I really like this actor, so I'm going to go out and just try to watch everything that they've been in. And I think Damon Wayans, hit that mark for me. So I think it just got brought into, I ended up watching it because I was just trying to watch anything I could find that he was in at the time.
Wow, so it was Damon Wayans that pulled you in. That's interesting. I think for me it was probably Bruce Willis. Even though I was a huge In Living Color fan, I was just like, oh man, this is like another Die Hard type of thing, but it's got Damon Wayans too, so it's going to be great, But
it's too bad then it was the last Boy Scout,
So so was this a rental, like a VHS rental?
Yeah, I did not see this in theaters or anything in 1991. No.
All right. Well, you never know. I had a pretty cool dad, so we'll get to my story with that in a minute. But Derek, how did you discover The Last Boy Scout, the Tony Scott masterpiece?
I'm pretty sure early high school is the first time I saw it. I don't know if I caught it on TV or it's just like, hey, Bruce Willis. I'm a big fan of Die Hard, and because whenever he's a cop, he's essentially John McClane in every movie he does as a cop.
Pretty much.
Yes.
But I didn't know who Tony Scott was at the time. I didn't know who Shane Black was. I'm just like, Bruce Willis as a cop. I'm in. I watched it. I liked it. I bought it on DVD at the time. That's probably the first time I saw it.
It's funny. It sort of came back around for me around that age. But I'll get to that in a sec. Now Ian's going to be the protester here. How could you not love this film, Ian? When did you see that? When did you first discover this movie?
Have you seen it? Were your eyes open watching this movie?
Like 1,000 times. 1,000 times.
Look,
I'm beginning to think you don't like character pieces.
Because in the category of true depictions of alcoholism, there's The Lost Weekend and Leaving Las Vegas, and of course The Last Boy Scout. I mean, they're all on the same pedestal. Good gosh, man. Look,
I didn't say recovery movies.
Good gosh. Anyway, the last one. Same like every I think person of our age. You get into it because of Bruce Willis. It's Die Hard. I will say the best part of this whole movie is that VHS box cover. I mean, that was that. If that didn't draw you in on the movie shelves, nothing would, right?
That's true.
It is
did
a
look
great.
good, yeah.
That cover is a great piece of 1991 for sure.
Oh, it's great. Football, guns, explosions. I thought nothing could go wrong with this movie. Until I watched it and I realized, oh, things can go wrong in this movie.
You, sir, are a crazed lunatic.
Oh, no,
what goes wrong?
listen. There are a couple things that I will say later that this movie I will hold and I will watch it again only for a couple of reasons. But I'll talk about that later. But I remember this was on USA in the afternoon in the mid '90s. So I remember watching an edited TV version of it.
That's no way to watch this film.
Oh, it is. It was free.
No,
that was enough.
Pan and scan. I'm sorry.
Most of us didn't have the option back in the day.
That's right.
I know.
You film snob.
Well,
Laserdisc or nothing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Give me Laserdisc or give me death.
Yeah, but I do remember watching that on HBO, and then I do remember it's being at the library a few times, and so I remember renting it from the library. And again, it's an action movie. It's good action, But as I've gotten older, I think the movie has lost its charm.
Where I'm curious, in your rebuff of the great Shane Black and Tony Scott and Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans. I mean, what is it about the movie that's lacking? How would you fix this movie?
Every frame? No. I think part of it is of the Tony Scott movies. Now, I used to have an issue with Tony Scott. I'll be full out on and full argument about this. Everybody praised Top Gun as Tony Scott, amazing director. 55% of that movie is aerial photography that man had nothing to do with. All right. So to say Top Gun is a great Tony Scott movie, he's a great organizer. I don't think he directed that movie. All right. But if I were to compare this with other Tony Scott movies, like for instance, Domino, which I love Domino. I think Domino is a great action movie from the aughts. I think that's one of the forgotten aughts action movies is Domino. Great Tony Scott movie. Man on Fire. Amazing stuff. But this I would put at like the bottom of the Tony Scott movies because it's not. Hold on. First off, calm your stuff. But it's not the greatest use of Tony Scott in this movie. I don't think his framing is good. I don't think he put in those really heavy backlit things that he did. Beverly Hills Cop II is better than I think The Last Boy Scout.
Just piss on the gospel. Just fucking, I'm about to have a walk-off here. Beverly Hills Cop II is the best thing that ever happened to Beverly Hills Cop III, because that's why I like Beverly Hills Cop III, is because Beverly Hills Cop II is just like one of those sequels where we make the first movie again, but it's nowhere near as fun or good or new or interesting.
Did you? Well, I agree with you. It can't compare to the first one, but the
visuals are pretty bland as well.
Is amazing.
But in the last Boy Scout,
there's nothing better than a Tony Scott movie with the Barnhouse fan light thing going on. Come on.
I don't know, man. I really dig the way this movie looks. I think it has this sort of cold blue neon that just, I don't know, I associate it just with this movie and this like sort of time.
So does Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. I don't see you praising that movie.
That's a good
well, for a different day.
I don't know. I think if there's faults in this movie, I don't know if they lie so much with Tony Scott, as far as I can remember it, as much as I would think they lie kind of with Shane Black. Like this movie is inherently dark. Like this movie's dark.
It's dark, and if you don't like the framing on certain scenes, those are probably the scenes that Tony Scott was forced to film that he hated by producer Joe.
Oh, I don't mean the look of it. I mean the.
I also think dark. There's something with the script that I feel like he took 3.5 that he had written and was like, well, they're never going to make this one, so let me take out Riggs Murtaugh and let me make it, some other guy. It's Lethal Weapon 3.5 that didn't work. That's my feeling.
Oh, first of all, that is just criminal. This is just awful. This is just horrible right now. This is a dark, sad day for our home audience,
Shots
and
have been
I just want to
fired.
apologize on behalf
Shots
of
haven't
Ian's
been
horrible,
fired.
horrible.
Shots have been
taste.
fired by 2 pistols.
So I want to go to the live chat. I want to go to the live chat.
Look, Chris, you're Harvey Keitel. I'm Steve Buscemi. Let's do this. We're gonna act like professionals. Let's act like freaking professionals. All right.
All right. So let's go to the live chat and try and be professional there. I see Angie Saunders in there, Alex Bonafonte, some Where Did Mr. Milo Cross the Road quotes. Gold's Code is in there. Says Kane Hodder back in the house.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mike Riffraff's in there again. Mike and Angie, a couple mashup geniuses there. Dustin Nino from Retro Fiend Radio, makers of the finest canon and martial arts docs on the internet, is there. Little what's up, everyone. First time I saw this one was a rental from my local video store. VHS baby all the way. Loved it. Pure Tony Scott, wide focus the entire time. Thank you. There's a guy who gets it, not like Ian, who's just got a bug up his ass for this against this movie for some strange reason.
I defended Dom. You all can't pull the Tony Scott card out of your butts and say I'm not defending Tony Scott. I defended Domino.
No. First of all, I'm not.
Domino people.
It's better. It's better than Days of Thunder. It's better than Top Gun to me. And it's better, not to shit on Top Gun, but it's I like it more than True Romance even. I know that's like the cool.
Now we're gonna fight. Now we're gonna fight.
But like to me, this is the personal Tony Scott movie. Like Tony Scott's a guy who fucking jumped off a bridge and took his own life. Like that dude was battling some dark shit, and so is Joe Hallenbeck, and so is Jimmy Diggs. And you know who writes that
I can't argue
really
now
well?
with you on
Shane
that.
Black. Shane Black writes that shit better than anyone, man. That guy that just like all he wants to do is like wash down his whiskey with a bullet to the head. Like that's just there's something poetic. It's a chicken soup for the soul kind of movie. But
I was looking at the IMDb trivia saying that Shane Black, when he wrote this, was going through like a messy divorce, and you can feel it in this movie.
With every
female character in this movie, like it's
it's amazing. Yeah, like the making the big romance out of "fuck you, Sarah." You're a lying bitch, Sarah. If the cops weren't here,
all right, that's the part I have. Okay, you want to get into this movie? Let's do this. All right, first off, you have Chelsea Ward as your wife, and
Chelsea
you're gonna
Field.
That's what I said. You're gonna have Chelsea Field as your wife, and you're gonna complain. Shut your mouth. Shut your
fucking Bruce
Willis mouth. I don't care.
When you can play the blues like Bruce Willis, you can say and do whatever you want.
You're married to Tira from Masters of the Universe, and you're going to complain? You're an idiot. That's all I'm going to say. You're an idiot.
Oh, that's what I fucking know her from. Shit.
Of course she's in Masters of the Universe. Come on. Like, we all loved her in that. But he's married to her, and he treats her like a wet fart. Like
I love how you talk about Masters of the Universe like it's fucking Schindler's List, and you talk about this movie like it's fucking trash. But hey, we all got quirks.
Listen, Masters of the Universe is a great movie. I'll defend that, Tom. But seriously, you're
one of the things that killed canon, and you celebrate this.
Of course I celebrate Masters of the Universe. It's one of the best mullet movies alive. Get out of here.
All right, I'll give you that. That's why I made my Mullets of the Universe.
That's right. Like, seriously, Dolph Lundgren for life. And, Beast Man, heck yeah, give me that all the way. But you have Chelsea Field. But you worship the ground she walks on, man.
Yeah, but she's cheating on you with Bruce McGill, who I fucking love, by the way.
Who would cheat on Bruce McGill? I would cheat with Bruce McGill. Like, it's Bruce McGill. Like, he has an amazing foundation in Hollywood. Should have won an Oscar 5 movies ago for all 5 movies.
He sat in front of me at a screening once.
What was
I'm jealous.
What was the screening?
The Best of Enemies, the Sam Rockwell movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Is it good? Was it good?
And he probably was having the best time of his life because he's sitting there going, I'm Bruce McGill. Give me the popcorn.
How could he not be? Yeah.
I'm just saying, there are certain things, there are certain rules. Like if Bruce McGill shows up in your 90s action movie, boom, it's a fucking classic. It's like this, Time Cop, these are some of the best of the era.
I'll give you that.
Also, if Damon Wayans does a buddy cop movie, not TV show, based on a movie, But if he does a buddy cop movie, it's brilliant. He did it
They
with Adam
tried.
Sandler
They
and
tried.
Bruce Willis.
Bulletproof, right? Yeah.
Bulletproof was incredible.
I know this was the movie that was trying to make Damon Wayans a Hollywood leading star. It just didn't work. I don't know why.
The universe fucked up on that, by the way. We need to.
I agree.
Because it was a mistake. It was like the CD skipped and we fucking lost that track. Like it was.
We've said this on the show. I don't know why.
Star of the 90s.
I don't know why there isn't 4 Major Pains. None of that makes sense.
That's the one thing.
I don't know why Blank Man isn't a cinematic universe. Damn it.
I do because of Blank Man. But the point is, why they're trying to make it's like, you know, that band that comes out and that they have that one song, and the universe is like, they're going to be the next Beatles, and they just kind of fizzle out. Like that's what the world did with Damon Wayans, I think.
Yeah. He was completely skipped over at one point.
He really was.
Yeah.
That's hard.
And give me Bulletproof. That's a good buddy cop movie with Damon Wayans.
That's a fun.
They're both great.
No, this movie is as entertaining as them the kids throwing the squirrel in the car. I got more entertained by that than the rest of the whole dang movie.
You're insane. I don't know what movie you watched today, but it clearly wasn't
a crappy movie. That's what I watched today.
I quote Alex Bonafante in the chat, who says, "Professor Ian, show us on the doll where the last Boy Scout touched you."
It got dark. Speaking of dark,
yeah, right.
It's a dark movie, so it
really is.
Gold's Coat says, if I wanted to hear a grown man cry like a baby about a movie, I would have invited Mickey on the show. So where do the people, all right, for the people watching, and I see Martin Rory is in there as well, Fandom Spotlight's newest writer and a VCR alum. Glad to have you watching, Martin. Where do you rank this on your Tony Scott movies? I'm curious for the people in the live chat, because I'm sure they're not watching because they hate this movie. I see a lot of true romance love in there. What's that?
I'm more towards Klink on this. Like, I enjoy The Last Boy Scout, but it is at the bottom of his resume for me. Like, there's other films that are worse.
Damn it! I knew I liked Derek. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm going to talk some cold, hard facts, right? The Last Boy Scout is better than any Die Hard sequel that's ever been made.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah.
So
better than Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Yes, it's better than Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Well, nothing's going to beat a good day to
Die Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard with a Vengeance is a fucking awesome movie right up until the third act. The third act sucks, and they even reshot it, and it still sucked. They just didn't have an ending for Die Hard with a Vengeance. If that movie had an ending, it would have been one of the best movies of the 90s. And
that movie was a different screenplay that they turned into Die Hard, like Simon Says, I think.
Simon Says, not to be confused with Simon Says with Dennis Rodman.
With a Z.
Dennis Rodman.
But yes,
terrible.
And understandably so. That's not a bad angle to do a Die Hard movie. And they could have done that with this movie, honestly. It could have been that, that's Holly. McClane's getting divorced now. And, he got kicked off the force and he's a private detective. This could have easily been adapted into being Die Hard 3. But Die Hard 2 was, like I said, the way they made sequels back then. And not to shit on Rennie Harlan, but Die Hard 2 is, his least interesting
I'll
film.
shit on him all day.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Fucking whip it out now.
Rhode Island.
No, but
you're trying to make fetch happen, Chris. It ain't happening. This movie, nobody likes this movie.
Oh, people love this movie, and I have so many friends that oh, you like that movie? That's how I know we're gonna be fucking tight.
I'll defend it on Chris's side. I like this as far as his movies go. This is in the upper echelon for me.
So let me.
Steven, I like you and I can't be mad at you, but that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I feel the same way.
Thank you. But I'll tell you, it's also that it's like the Damon Wayans thing. They tried to make a thing. Mm-hmm. Bruce Willis, I swear, was not acting in this movie. He just could care less that he was in this movie.
He's kind of sleepwalking through this movie. Yeah, a little.
And there's a great. But I'll tell you the two things that make this movie for me. All right, I will tell you, after I hear Chris's story of how he introduced it, I will tell you the two things that make this movie, but there's also a great story about Bruce Willis from the thing that makes this movie good. So, Chris, I want to hear your and it sounds like you haven't, and listen, before you make me the jerk, there sounds like there's an emotional emotional attachment to this story.
There's
So
a deep
therefore,
emotional attachment to this story because it is chicken soup for my soul.
and I
Rarely
get that.
ever does a buddy cop movie become a worthy character study, and even more rare is it to be able to actually relate to both characters, both sides. Like usually you watch like Lethal Weapon, you're like, oh, you're either more of a Riggs or you're more of a Murtaugh. You know, you watch, you know, like any of these like buddy cop movies, and there's like the one guy that you're more like, and it's usually the nerdier guy because I mean, look at us. But in this case, I feel like I really do relate to Jimmy Dix and Joe Hallenbeck on certain levels. I'm not nearly as fucking badass as either of those guys are, obviously, but like they both have different degrees of loss and regret and like, you know, maybe time having passed them by. And I'm sure
So
that's
what you're
something
telling
can
me
relate
is
to.
that you're drunk and wearing leather pants right now. That's what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying. You can never
He's standing up,
tell.
but he's actually wearing no pants. So.
No,
I've been wearing
worse than we
leather
thought.
pants on every episode of VCR Redux, and you all just didn't know. But now I've been outed, so now
all
now
you
the
own are
secret's
leather
out.
pants.
Yeah, all I wear. That's true.
Leather
That's all I-
pants and Hawaiian shirts. That's
Yeah, that is a great
That's
combination.
that's how you get girls, ladies. Right there. Leather pants and Hawaiian shirt.
Hey, it must have worked for somebody somewhere at some point.
Well, how did,
Al
so
Pacino
how'd you
maybe.
come
Yeah, a man named
So-
Sven. Like, you know,
So, and we'll get into the backstory because there's fascinating backstory to digest in this movie as well. But my personal backstory, it's the year is 1991. My cool dad takes me and my brother Matt to the Hawthorne Mall movie theater again, same place I saw Universal Soldier, and we get to see The Last Boy Scout, and I absolutely loved it. And like for me, 7-year-old me, what put me over the top was when he takes the furry Tom stuffed animal. And you know, it's like, why did Mr. Milo cross the road? Like that was just the funniest line I think I had ever heard at the time. But still, this movie, like I know, time went on, and I sort of kind of I remembered it, but I sort of forgot about it. And then one day I was nostalgic for 1991, and it was either this or If Looks Could Kill. And this was on DVD, and If Looks Could Kill was on VHS. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll go with Last Boy Scout and see what it looks like on DVD. And I was like, wow, this movie is incredible. My favorite kill scene of all time with Kim Coates, that I need a cigarette. You touch me again, I'll kill you. That is incredible. Fucking.
He's in and out of that movie pretty quick.
He is in and out of that movie quick. But I remember talking to Kim Coates when I met him about how much I love this scene.
oh, you
And
met
he
Kim
said
Coates.
it was voted as the second greatest kill scene in any movie. And I was like, what was the fucking first one? And it was the head blowing up from scanners was
Sure.
the number one death scene. I was like, that's a good scene, but you know, I don't know if it's like a kill scene. I think it was more of a special effects scene. You know, it's like the face melting from Raiders. Like, I don't think of it as a kill scene.
Kim Coates
scene.
Kim Coates is a great reason. That's one of my reasons of that this movie is good is because of Kim Coates. Like anything with Kim Coates, but I mean,
so
God.
not only do we got Kim Coates and fucking Bruce McGill, you have
He's out
the
of
guy
this
who
movie
plays
pretty quick too.
the guy who plays Shelley Marcone. I'm just going to the IMDb right now because I'm terrible with fucking actors' names. Good Lord. He's everything. He's that guy in everything. Noble Willingham. Thank you. Sheldon Marcone and the incredible Taylor Negron.
That's the second thing that makes this movie good.
In what is unquestionably
anything with Taylor Negron makes this movie like he's the pizza guy in Fast Times. He's freaking
Biodome.
Yeah. but the Nothing But Trouble, where
wow,
you know,
I forgot.
he's
so weird.
Who is he in Nothing But Trouble?
He's one of the two foreign diplomats that come on the ride with him.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, what's his name in that? I can't think of his name in that movie, but he's like, I'm not going to swim in this funky river.
So
he
not
has
only
a
you got
line
that
in this movie that made me roll my eyes in the greatest way, where it's like, yeah, there is a problem. There's too many bullets in this gun, and he shoots the cop, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's a great.
I don't remember this being so corny, but I love that.
Yeah.
That is a good line.
You know, there's a million lines about this movie that are just gold. Like, I think I fucked a squirrel to death and I don't even remember it. You know,
Yeah.
there's a new invention now. It's called the razor. It's too risky. I might start thinking of you and try to slash my wrists. You know, there's just like line after line. You know, my favorite though is easily when they get confronted and they put the C4 in the trunk. And the guy's like, Jake here knows when a situation is untenable. Like, you know, he checks his job with a certain veracity. Like, you know, you like that word? Like, holy shit, we're being beat up by the inventors of Scrabble. Like, that is just gold.
All
And
of a
Dana
sudden,
Wayne-
Bruce Willis becomes MacGyver in this movie.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely
The
some
C4 in the
MacGyver-y
trunk.
moments.
Don't you do that, Chris. I saw what you just did. You totally blew it off. You knew exactly in your head that what Derek said was so true, that this is a fart moment in that movie where he puts the C4 in the trunk and he just knows. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yes, okay, that's
throws the
a
bullet in the
stretch,
fire
yeah.
at the end, and it explodes, and the guy is fully engulfed in flames.
You know what's not a
Like
fart
the shredder
scene in this
keys. Yeah,
movie?
there's some like blatant setup payoff kind of stuff.
The
for sure.
the
I'm
intro
sorry,
of
what
this
were you gonna say,
movie.
Steve?
I was saying the intro of this movie, the intro sequence, I think is what I remember seeing and being like, oh, okay, I'm in. I'm absolutely in.
Steven brings up a good
The
point.
football game.
The
Yeah,
third,
yeah,
the third,
awesome.
the
That's
third
absolutely
greatest part of this movie is
Yeah.
one of the righteous is Bill Righteous singing that Friday Night Football song.
Right?
Bill
Yeah.
Medley.
Or Bill, same thing. Whatever.
awesome.
Well, Bill
Yeah,
Medley.
Billy Idol is there singing that song.
Whatever.
God,
The
that
point
would've
is,
been amazing.
you knew the song I was talking about, didn't you?
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night for football. But it's like that Bill Melody voice. It's like, all right, Tony, you're a genius for that one. I give you credit.
Bill Medley was an incredible piece of history for sure. But you have a good point. That is a very memorable first scene. You know, fucking wide receiver,
especially
just
if you have
starts
no
shooting
idea.
linebackers. It's crazy.
Shoot himself in the head. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially if you
like
have no, don't know where this movie's going. Yeah.
I still don't
Yeah.
understand what that is. Why is he shooting the players?
Well,
That's a little
it's weird.
yeah.
If that is weird and never explained. I was actually thinking about that when I rewatched the movie yesterday. That's the one part that like really makes very little to no
Because it
sense at
seems
all.
like, you know,
He works for
he's being forced
Kelly
to throw
Marcone.
the game, but if you start killing players, the whole game is null and void. Gamblers aren't going to win anything. So I never really understood it.
I guess it's like one of those ideas where somebody's going to kill themselves and they wind up taking out a bunch of people beforehand for no reason. You know?
No,
it's like,
no.
It's like a murder. No?
No, Joel Silver was on cocaine. Tony Scott was listening to Joel Silver, and they just went, "This is gonna be great. Just do this." You know, like,
yeah, I guess there's probably no thought behind
That's all
it.
there was.
Well,
It's way more
apparently,
cinematic
you know,
if he shoots other people first.
Yeah. Well, it's
Tony
like
Scott-
I thought when I first started watching the movie. I remember years ago, I thinking, well, that's a good plot. Like, there's gonna be drugs going around the team, and it's almost like Outland, you know, with Sean Connery. It's a drug kind of bust movie, but
Yeah,
that's-
that has little to do. I mean, it does, but it doesn't have little to do with the rest of the movie. Yeah, it does feel a little detached. Yeah,
What the football part or the
yeah,
drug?
Yeah,
the
football-
intro. Yeah,
the
yeah,
beginning.
the whole intro. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah,
It's like
It is-
it's like, you know, like the good payoff in like Lethal Weapon, you know, her jumping out of the window, you know, that connects through the whole movie.
right.
Whereas this one doesn't really, like, it's a good Shane Black opening. He does that a lot with his movies, if you ever notice. He has this like opening moment that really sets the movie off. He just that one doesn't pay off as well. I don't.
I mean, they come back around to it because the end of the movie is at that same stadium, right? Like that's
yes, but I
yeah.
feel like according to at least IMDb, this movie was heavily rewritten like on the set, and Joel Silver and like, you know, all these alpha males and these guys, like Joel Silver was the top of his game, Bruce Willis was the top of his game, you know, Tony Scott was at the top of his game, Damon Wayans was like near the top, you know, so I'm sure there's a lot of opinions and
It says this movie was originally written to be a lot darker and and the characters were darker. And I'm like, you're introducing character. When they introduced Damon Wayans, he's at a strip club yelling at his girlfriend to put more clothes on and trying to cheat on her at the same time at her work. You know what I mean? Like
while trying to fight her bodyguard.
Yeah. We'll try to fight. He just looks over and tells Bruce Willis to stop looking at her.
With
like,
Eddie Griffin, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's right. Eddie Griffin.
Yes, fucking A right. She did incredible in this.
This is the earliest Halle Berry role I've seen her in.
Oh,
yeah, this is
definitely,
one of the first. Yeah.
Yeah, this is pre New Jack City. This is pre
Pre Catwoman,
pre what am I fucking thinking? Boomerang.
X-Men.
Boomerang is such a great early 90s movie. But
I've forgotten Eddie. Yes.
Also in this movie, it was darker. Like Milo was gonna be like making snuff films and like all this shit. It's like, all right, that sounds like Shane Black.
How do you make
really going through
it's
some
hard
shit.
to like your protagonist when you make them both such pieces of shit, like out of the gate.
Yeah, well, I guess the worse I make Milo, then the better it is. But again, like I think these guys have these relatabilities. None of them are like Superman guys like Riggs and Lethal Weapon, or that's like kind of one of the big differences for me. Bruce Willis spends the most of the movie getting his fucking ass kicked, and so does Damon Wayans.
For $500 too.
Danielle, yeah, right, for $500. Danielle Harris is amazing in this movie as Darian. Like I totally believe their relationship.
All right, four
fucking forgiving things. There you go. How much can you hate a movie that has 4 fucking massive?
Oh, quite a bit actually. There's so much mistakes that it just
okay.
When the trunk explodes, the mannequin is sitting there. The gun is wobbling in the mannequin's hand. Like, I'm done with you, Chris. Like, I'm done.
Oh my gosh, they didn't have a fucking. They didn't really blow up a fucking stunt man. What a crime against cinema. Come on.
This movie clearly doesn't take itself that seriously.
Yeah, come on now. We got to have some fun with this now. But you got Rick Ducommun as well. They crash into his pool. Rick Ducommun can do no wrong. So you got 5 things right there. I know.
God, I can't argue with that. I forgot he was in this.
Just keep throwing shit out there. He'll love the movie by the end of this.
Yeah, by the end of it is.
That's right. You goddamn right. No, but for whatever reason, the movie missed at the box office and kind of with the public. And ironically, it was the first script to ever sell for more than $1 million. Shane Black turned down $2.25 million from Carolco so he could do it with his buddy Joel Silver. And
that was
it sort of became the beginning of the end for Joel Silver, I think.
It was part of that Damon Wayans curse, because I think Bulletproof didn't do all that well either. And Adam Sandler was Sandler was like the biggest thing in the world then.
He was it was really in between Happy Gilmore and Wedding Singer. Like
it's like you guys said, it's a mistake in the Matrix. Something didn't
whatever you
computer for Damon Wayans to be bigger than he was.
Society is dumb and we do dumb things, and one of those dumb things is not making Damon Wayans the biggest star of the 90s. Like, it's just dumb that we did that. Like, are you kidding me? The Great White Hype. The guy did some fucking incredible.
I want to see an
shit,
Independence Day with Damon Wayans.
I would have loved to have seen that.
Honestly, okay. So here's the thing. I mean, I know we haven't gotten into but what if it wasn't Bruce Willis? Because I'll argue a little bit. I think is that there was a Bruce Willis surplus in '91. It wasn't
Die Hard 2 just came out the year before.
Yeah,
this was very Die Hard adjacent.
Yeah, we weren't lacking of Bruce Willis at this point, which I guess
I love. This is my favorite era of his. Like the fucking Last Boy Scout and Hudson Hawk, the Joel Silver deathbed.
There's hair Bruce Willis and there's bald Bruce Willis. This was before bald Bruce Willis, which
But this is also, like I said, it's post Die Hard 1 and 2. Post Moonlighting, but it's pre Pulp Fiction,
Yeah, that's what it's not like
12 Monkeys,
But what if Damon Wayans had been Bruce Willis's role?
Well, the interesting casting that I read that was their original choice was Jack Nicholson to play Joe Hallenbeck, and damn, that would have been fucking awesome. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love Bruce Willis, but shit, that would have been interesting as fuck.
That would have been interesting. Yeah.
No. What?
One of the greatest actors ever, and you're
if it was done serious, yes. But as a comedy, there's only a couple of comedies that work with Jack Nicholson. Going South and freaking Anger Management. But
and none of them are action.
Anger Management is a turd. I'm sorry.
that's a turd. You're supporting this movie, but that's a turd. A movie.
Anger Management is the most mediocre movie to have such a fucking amazing cast.
In with this guy,
John Turturro, fucking. There's just so many great. Marissa Tomei. What a waste of a cast that movie is. Like, just that does not live up to the potential. Like, especially.
I'm just saying, go back to the whole thing. Like, if Damon Wayans had been the star, could this have been different? Because I do wonder if Bruce Willis shadowed it a little bit. Like, he was the weight. Because again, he also we agreed. We said it earlier. He's not really trying too hard this movie. I mean, and
he doesn't have to. Like, I feel like this is in an interview. Like,
but Kim Coates in an interview recently, I heard on a podcast, he talked about Bruce Willis. And he said Bruce was a nice guy, but it was kind of a coming in. It's like, all right, where do I go left? All right, you know.
I guess that's always worked as far as I've heard.
I mean, you're a movie star, not an actor. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what the job is.
It's kind of
silly
supposed
ass
to be.
Job.
It's supposed to be his role too. Is he's kind of supposed to play that a little bit, right? Like he's supposed to be a cynical, shot out, who gives a fuck. He doesn't even care that his wife's cheating on him. He just punches the guy. And I
want the version in this alternate universe, in like universe 467B, right? That's very much our line of universe, but Nick Cage is in that role. And it's Nick Cage and Damon Wayans. Or in universe 7576-4, where it's Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans in this role.
They were already in a movie together before that.
Earth Girls Are Easy.
That's what I'm saying. Earth Girls Are Easy. How cool would that movie be?
Shake all night. God, I love Earth Girls Are Easy. Pick up the new Vestron Blu-ray, folks. It's a steal of a deal. And amazing special features.
Is that Weblock? Weblock.
So I understand what you're saying, but to the people that do love this movie, a huge part of what they love about it is Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans, and you can't deny that they have good chemistry together. They have a different take of television, two forms of TV comedy that just blend like magic. Those guys fit together like I don't know, a pair of old shoes or something that fits really well. I don't know where I was going with that, but you get what I'm saying.
Fit together like a cheese and ham sandwich. Like
I don't know. They
sandwich.
That's a good sandwich, right? Yeah. It's a tolerable sandwich.
It's a digestible sandwich.
Yeah, there you go.
And they fit like a your favorite Hawaiian shirt. But we are past the half an hour point. It is time to pitch some sequels for this film. I know it's going to be a painful experience for Ian. There's some there's some love in the chat for William Sadler. There's a whole side thread going for him, which I'm always a fan of. Just watched Hard to Kill the other night. But there was also some pitches already. What's that?
He wasn't in this, was he? Or are they just saying that?
No, it's just like a side, it's a side thread thing.
Well, because if he was in this movie, there'd be 6 reasons why this movie. But
well, I think he was in Die Hard 2 with Bruce Willis. Also,
he should be in every movie. Like, let's be honest.
I won't disagree there. He's amazing in Demon Knight. But also a lot of love in the chat for Taylor Negron. Martin Murray says I miss seeing him pop up and stuff, and I definitely agree. It's one of those guys you're always happy to see. A great character actor. And Scotty B concurs and says he is a great villain. And again, I just have to like harp on this for a second, like. That whole shtick where he's just like, you think you're so fucking cool, don't you? Like, you think you're so fucking cool? Well, just once, I would like to hear you scream in pain. Like, he just makes such interesting choices doing a scene like that. It's not like, nobody else would have been this version of Milo, and the world is a better place because...
He's got that 90s bleached hair.
Yeah, 90s, like, I'm balding, but I'm still, like, really stylish about it. Like, kind of Taylor Negron thing. But fucking it works, man. Like, I totally buy it. He looks like a Bond villain, he talks like a villain I've never seen before.
He does kind of look like Silva now that you mentioned it from Skyfall.
Oh, that would have made Skyfall even better. Is Taylor Negron? Like, give me that movie in Universe 770.
Go to your alternate universe already.
I'm going to, man.
So there is some.
How jacked up would it be if all of a sudden I just like and
just through a portal and just out? Yeah.
How cool would that have been? Kyle, make that happen.
Oh, interesting point in the chat here too. Alex Bonafonte, every Tony Scott movie is a visual spectacle, period. Shane Black was
I'll
paid,
give
yeah, a
him
million
that.
cash record at the
I will
time.
give him. I will give Tony Scott that. It's just I just put this at the bottom of the Tony Scotts. It's not.
So I'm trying to. The chat's very active today. I'm trying to find the pitches because I know there were some pitches in here, but if you haven't pitched yet, guys, be sure to send your pitches into the live chat. Let us know how you'd want to see this movie come back. There's 4 new messages at the bottom, so I'm trying, but basically I remember seeing something to the effect of Sean Gold saying the sequel needs rollerblading, so let's tie it in with Airborne. And you know something, every movie needs rollerblading, and it's always a chance for me to make my stupid little skater Die Hard joke. It's the one thing we haven't seen a Die Hard of. We've seen Die Hard on a train, on a plane, on a boat, on a moat, like all this
You want to
stuff.
see Die Hard on rollerblades?
Haven't seen Die Hard on a half pipe, have we? I'm just saying. It could be the high flying, grinding, aggressive grinding action franchise the world needs. But actually, I did have some thoughts.
I hate you, Chris.
I did have some thoughts about what you could do with oh wow, we've been hacked by porn site things, have infiltrated the live chat. That's how you know we're a success. Yay. Porn bots in the live chat. Excellent. Gold's Code has a pitch. Here it is. I found it. We need a sequel with a race down a mountain against the preps. Haha. Got you again, Ian. Sorry, I can't help it. Our audience loves Airborne because our audience is the best audience on the internet.
They are a great audience, but they've got to stop with the Airborne. Like it's just not going to happen.
Don't ever stop, audience. Keep it coming.
Just like Damon Wayans didn't happen. Airborne didn't happen. Live with it. I do.
They live on in our hearts and our hearts forever. But no, I was thinking about this. It's a very hard thing to bring back, and I love doing these on VCR, the ones that are like almost impossible to bring back because it didn't make money. Like no one wants to work with Joel Silver anymore. Bruce Willis can't even act anymore. Like he is suffering from aphasia. Damon Wayans like did a Lethal Weapon TV show, so it's almost like too adjacent-ish now or I don't know. He can't play like the young, cool, funny guy anymore. Neither of them can. So even if Bruce Willis could act and you brought them back, it'd be a really tough sell to do this movie about like 70-year-old, private detective.
I love Tracy Morgan in the movie, but it's almost cop out. Could have been very interesting if it was Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis. It's almost a quasi sequel that Kevin Smith had done.
So you just lean into it and you go funnier.
I think just funnier. Yeah, if you get these guys to team up again and you just go for, I know that defeats the purpose, but I do wonder if they had cast Damon Wayans in that, what that could have looked like. I don't think it would have made a difference. I mean, the cop out's cop out. That's not bashing.
They're such radically different movies. Yeah.
But it's just, tone. Yeah. But it's like I do like it when actors team up again. There is something that works with that. I mean, Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon. It always worked. When The Rock and Kevin Hart team up, there's something there, even if it's a different movie. In essence, it's the same movie. Whenever these actors.
Sometimes those partnerships run awry, though, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito making Junior, or Arnold Schwarzenegger doing movies with Ivan Reitman.
Well, that was because it was Junior. I mean, you should have done Twins too, like everybody wanted, not.
Is that still happening, like Triplets or something with Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
Now it's ironically happening with Tracy Morgan, I think.
Oh, really?
But I don't think it's one of those like I'll believe it when I see it, like Ghostbusters 3. Like, I believe it when I was walking out of the theater. I was like, I don't think it was real. Like this is a fever dream. I have to like own it. I have to have the Blu-ray, and then it has to suck. So that now it's real. Yeah, no, I believe it. Any rate, you said last week, Ian, about Universal Soldier that the sequel should have come out in like 1995, and I was thinking about that again today, and I adjusted to 94 for Universal Soldier. But that's kind of like I want to go to the universe where this was a hit and we got a sequel in like 93 or 94 or something like that. And like imagining what that could have been.
The setup of him as a private detective the private detective sets up for everything. I mean, you can use that plot point for whatever movie
or anything. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it just you can. So I mean, there should have been a sequel to it, and I'm sure that Shane Black and Joel Silver, all of them wanted a sequel. I definitely think Damon Wayans wanted this to take off the way that. I mean, he left in living color for this. You know, like this was what got.
Was it for this movie?
I thought it was. I thought it was. He got up after this movie came out. Like he was on the show for one more season and then left, I think.
I remember him being around a little bit longer than
was he?
Think.
Well, I mean, could you imagine at that time, at this point, doing a big action movie like that or whatever, written by Shane Black, directed by Tony Scott with Bruce Willis in it, not expecting that to be the absolute launcher. Yeah. So, he must have had really high expectations for this movie. Doing well.
Who wouldn't? Yeah, you're with like the best, you know, in Hollywood at the time. But for whatever reason, it didn't connect. But like I said, imagining if it had, we would have gotten a sequel probably somewhere between 94 and 97 or something like that. And like, you know, it's not a bad place to start to actually think about like what it could have been. You know, you can't do that now. So one thought I also had was, you know, Danielle Harris is kind of her father's daughter in this, Darian. You know, like she's sort of fast talking, take no shit. Why couldn't we do like a Netflix series about like her as a private detective now, and maybe she's had some fucking loss in life, maybe she's done some shit, you know.
Her
marriage fell apart.
I know you're gonna call it The Last Girl Scout. Don't you say it. Don't. That's too...
You have to. That's the only way to tie it in.
I guess you do. I guess
there's nothing else about the storyline or plot or whatever that you could possibly even use to tie in to something like that, you know? Like there's just nothing there.
You can do the fucking Kickboxer 2 technique where at the beginning you show a bald guy getting murdered and it's like she has to figure out what happened, like who killed her dad. It's depressing, but Bruce Willis can't act anymore, so he could probably still play dead.
I mean, it would be. I think for Danielle Harris, it would be a great opportunity. I mean, I think she's an incredible actress.
Danielle Harris rules.
Yeah, I mean, I know she talks a lot about this movie a lot. Like in some of the interviews I've seen of her, like she had a great time on this movie.
She had the fucking greatest run to come out with Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and The Last Boy Scout. Like, those are 4 classic films. You know, Halloween 5's got its issues, but like it's part of that, you know, fun era.
Here's the problem: is if you did the plot where it's her and Damon Wayans, right?
Oh, so maybe he's dead, and then you know she's grown up or whatever. And they have to.
Somehow or another you tie where he comes in. I mean, there's a way to do it. I can't think of how, but. Would they have the same chemistry? Would people even be interested in that?
You can use Damon Wayans Jr. He's an actor.
Right.
Oh, that's true. You could next generation that shit.
Right.
Next to Last Boy and Girl Scout.
There'd be a lot of work to do. Yeah, like a lot of work to do to make that, you know. Figure out everything. Yeah. So
my other thought was like you could do same thing like a Netflix series, but reboot. And as much as I hate that word, like who could you get to play these guys now if you were redoing this movie?
I see the problem with a reboot with this movie is that. I mean, the reboot of Lethal Weapon, right? I never saw it. I'm sure it's terrible, but like inherently, it's a buddy. It's just a buddy cop premise. Literally, they're buddy cops. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason for them to be there with the same people and the same whatever. If you reboot this movie, is it the same plot? Is it the same story?
I think it's the darker version. To be honest, like that to me is like, what was the original script that Shane Black did? If you did that today as a reboot, you know, basically The Last Boy Scout,
right?
And again, I don't know why my brain always goes to him, but Michael B. Jordan would be a great.
Oh God, Michael B. Jordan would be amazing
because he's got that athletic football.
Yeah,
kind of. I can buy him as a football star. And I'm trying to think who I would have as the Bruce Willis role. I want somebody who's.
Maybe that new Reacher guy. I think his name is Alan Richson. He's like a big bulky white guy.
Yeah.
The Amazon show.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking
You know
about.
who
That guy's-
who
yeah.
might be interesting if you had to reboot it with younger actors? A guy that I really like, and I'm waiting for him to get like another sort of big shot. I know he's in big movies, but Joel Kinnaman, he was in the RoboCop remake, and he was in Suicide Squad.
Yes.
And I think he was on
yeah.
Well,
Altered Carbon.
I know who you're
He'd
talking
be
about.
interesting. I think him and Michael B. Jordan could have a good,
Like
rapport, maybe.
just that darker reality, like you really
Yeah.
go for it. I mean, the wife really is
Yeah.
cheating the best friend. It's the drunkenness, the going through the real struggles of the alcoholism. Like maybe
You
it's
really
not
lay into that?
maybe it's not played for so many jokes. And the
you
only
play a
thing,
little more dramatic,
and I will tell you the thing that'll make up for it. And I'm telling you, it's $1 million idea. Kim Coates is the villain.
Oh God.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I would be
yeah.
so
Get
down.
Kim
yeah.
Coates.
Wow.
Get Kim Coates as Milo, and I'm done. It sells itself.
I think
Right?
you're
All
right.
right.
I think the darker element of it, and that making it more of a dirty, cop drama kind of deal. Like
Yeah, because I mean
gritty,
the
like a
comedy,
grittier.
Yeah.
the comedy, like it was. I've never watched The Last Boy Scout, and I was like,
Right.
like Lethal Weapon or anything like. So to me, like a darker version of it, where you really get into the sports football thing, where you get into like maybe it's not about drugs, maybe it's about steroids he was kicked out for, or there was something really really dark for him too.
Yeah, the seedy underbelly of the NFL, and
Yeah,
they touch on that in this movie, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think
that
John
like
David Washington would be a good choice too for the Damon Wayans role.
Who's that?
John David Washington,
Was he in?
Denzel's son.
Oh, yeah.
I
yeah.
didn't know
Okay.
Denzel had a kid who does acting.
Ted,
There is one more pitch. Oh, and Angie Saunders says we never saw Die Hard in Halloween. Fucking good ass point, Angie Saunders. We've seen Die Hard on Christmas and 4th of July, and I think like another Die Hard with a Vengeance wasn't a holiday weekend, but we never saw Die Hard on Halloween. That's actually not a terrible idea for a movie at all. And there's a pitch from Gold's Code. It says, "Pitch. I just want to see Ian this mad, so anything to annoy him." Airborne forever. That's his pitch. Airborne forever. And there's Alex Bonafonte
the
says
other way I would
Curtis
accept that is there's Airborne 2 and an Airborne 3, which thank gosh there's not.
There
not even
shall
straight to
be.
video.
And Airborne Forever belongs in space. We all know this. So
Of course, obviously, yeah.
So some interesting notes on what we've been pitching so far. Alex Bonafonte says, "Don't recast. Let Bruce Willis die. It worked in Armageddon," which is a good point there. He also says Curtis Armstrong is Hallenbeck, so he recants his "don't recast" statement. But I think it's in jest, of course. I love Curtis Armstrong. That's a man that can do no fucking wrong in this world. And something, I would love to see him take on a darker character. I wouldn't have thought Joe Hallenbeck, but that's got potential. I also would like to see these guys take on the mob. I think like if you do the Shelley Marcone thing again and Milo and stuff, you may be tempted to retread the same water. Be kind of interesting to see, these same characters maybe on their next adventure or on just
like you said,
a
if you-
different adventure. Could
If
Indiana
you
Jones
flesh it
that?
out like a series, like you kept saying Netflix series or whatever, you really give them the potential to spread this out or whatever and take it anywhere you want. You can have.
I think it'd be awesome to see them.
No, he
fucking,
never
like,
pitched.
taking on the mob.
you know where I'd like to see this on?
Where?
If they were going to do this, I want this to be like nowadays. I just think of how streaming works and what sells on streaming and what people. This would be a great HBO Max movie, like a Saturday night movie on HBO Max, like you have to stream and hit it. Like a good remake on HBO Max. I don't know. That just
that would be the place for this.
I saw it sold on the Bruce Willis though, of the recast of Bruce Willis. Who?
That's
Me,
tough.
yeah. It's because he's got to be a little. You have to make him a little bit older because you have to feel like he's been through everything as this character, or whatever. This character's seen and dealt with everything, and he's cynical.
I feel like I know this is like a typical thing to like pick a Marvel actor, but I feel like Chris Hemsworth kind of like you've seen Thor. You've seen Thor at at that point where he was like depressed about
guess.
Thanos and he just got all fat
Would you
and out of
believe
shape and shit?
Would you believe like a Chris Hemsworth is like a gritty detective who's like down in his fucking luck, sleeping in his car and shit? Like I don't.
If you de-handsome him like a motherfucker and make him fat again, then yes.
Sam Rockwell.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you're right.
That's
Sam Rockwell's a guy.
He could play like because he's got to kind of play like I'm a piece of shit. But
And I want to see Sam Rockwell in a bar fight. Like I think Sam Rockwell. You get Michael B. Jordan. That could be. I could see that poster.
Oh fuck, dude, I'm into that. Actually, I would.
Kim Coates is the villain.
I would be excited if I heard that was.
And the wife is Danielle Harris.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh, bringing it home.
Brought it all the way around. There it is.
There it is.
There it is, folks. Just in the nick of time. Wow. Well, your disdain for this movie helps us set it on the right course.
Because I want to see a better movie than the piece of crap that I watched, the original. That's why.
Oh, interesting choice. Alex Monfonte says Paul Giamatti is howling back. That's interesting. And Scott Eastwood is a suggestion in there. And Tom Hardy as well. All good choices. But I got
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy could be good. Him and Sam Rockwell would be my choice for Hollenbeck. Those two guys.
Yeah, they've lived for sure.
Because they look like Hollenbeck has to look like he's lived a rough life.
Yeah.
And those
Tom Hardy could sell that for sure.
Yeah, as a name. Yeah. I like the guy from Suicide Squad, in The Killing.
Joe Kinnaman.
Joe Kinnaman, yeah.
He'd be really interesting too. Like somebody who has that darker
maybe
side.
he could be Milo then, if it's not Kim Coates. But
it's Kim Coates. I want Kim Coates.
It should be Kim Coates.
You're
dead right about that.
Kim Coates in anything. Like
you're dead right about that. Oh, then I want
Anthony... star as Mark Twain tonight, and I'd still watch.
All right. Then I want Anthony LaPaglia as Shelley Marcone this time. If we're recasting like that. Just saying, throwing it in. No. Oh God, Chelsea Ross. I love Chelsea Ross as Senator Baynard. No. Shelley Marcone was the owner of the LA Stallions.
Oh yeah.
And in one of my favorite lines too, I love when he's like, got Daniel Harris, in his office, and they're all there at the end of the movie. And he's trying to be like, oh, her nice Uncle Shelley, and she just sort of eat shit, you fucking redneck. Something about that is so good. I don't know. She was a great actress, man. She still is, obviously. Danielle Harris is fantastic.
Kid swearing is always funny.
Kid swearing was great, and it was really done well at that time. We were at the height of smoking cigarettes in movies. This is, I think, my favorite.
Society was really going downhill in '92. It was great,
Right.
No, it was fucking awesome. Everyone smoked cigarettes, and it was okay. And it was just a better time. We weren't so judgy about this shit. You know what I mean?
We can make movies where both our protagonists are just completely terrible human beings.
Yes, you could do that. Something that's real. I'd rather watch. They said the same thing about St. Elmo's Fire. They go, these are 7 of the most unlikable characters in film history. And they're not wrong, but that still is why I think it's an interesting movie, because they're people they're flawed. They're not fucking perfect. No one is.
Well, that's why I think a grittier version of this movie would be even more relatable. I
like that.
They're just, he's a jerk athlete. He just is. Yeah. He screwed up. He gambled. He lost, and he got, in trouble. He got on the list for for his numbers to be down. That's kind of real if you're an athlete. There's a good real movie in The Last Boy Scout. It's just the Charles Bronson version that I got, that we got, was just.
You say that like it's a bad thing, and I question our whole friendship.
Our friendship is based on the fact that some movies we're not going to agree.
No. You set Last Boy Scout on the right path, and I commend you for that, sir.
I know. I want to see this. I want to see this now.
Right? I mean, HBO Max.
Got me curious enough.
Right there, it'd be perfect.
It would.
You got me curious enough to think about it again for sure. But at any rate, we are almost out of time. Before we wrap it up, Steve, Derek, is there anything you guys have got coming up soon in the works you want to let the people know about? Anything you want to plug? Social media, anything at all? Or
we have a
peace and chicken grease.
A new record. If you're a fan of the early aughts kind of pop punk that we're releasing after 10 years, third record coming out, streaming everywhere. Early this upcoming year, I think in February.
That's right.
Band's name's Crash Romeo. You want to check that out? That's all I got.
Hell yeah. Well, you know I'm gonna be there day one for that. Derek, anything you working on you want to let the people know about?
No, I don't really work on anything. I just do my 9 to 5 job Monday through Friday.
Well,
Beautiful.
we are always looking forward to whatever you're cutting up next, my man. Ian, any articles or anything coming out?
Yes, if you're not stuffed from Thanksgiving, go over to Fandom Spotlight to see my newest review on the 80s consumerism classic, The Stuff.
Larry Cohen.
Nice. Yes.
Which is a great movie. Funny article on my B movie challenge. So, definitely if you have room to spare.
I'm going to read that tonight, Ian.
Oh, please do. Thank you, Steven.
Yeah,
I appreciated it.
Yeah, that's great.
Classic movie. Classic.
Larry Cohen, man. He doesn't get
Should be the new Thanksgiving holiday movie. That's what I feel. Everybody should eat turkey and then watch The Stuff.
Wow, that's a bold choice, but I kind of like it. Anyway,
so was anything about this movie that anything?
All right, Mr. Portland Trailblazer. Anyway, you Fandom fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. and we hack the planet on rollerblades for our Hackers episode. As always, if you enjoyed this video,
love that movie.
Oh gosh!
Oh, that's great.
Oh my gosh! Are we seriously doing Hackers?
You bet your goddamn keister we are. As always, folks, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Crash Romeo, Fandom Spotlight, the Hollow 9 Network, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.